the thing that bothers me the most is, and I'm not knocking people that donate to countries and, people have disasters and things like that. But my biggest thing is, if I live right here in this community in Fort Wayne, let's get our community together and let's eradicate poverty, homelessness, whatever issues. And once we finish our community, then let's start going to the surrounding communities and duplicating that process, and then let it spread. And then if we need to go to, say, Indianapolis, Evansville, and it starts there, once it's spread, we encompass all of those surrounding areas. And now the whole state of Indiana is on one accord. We don't have poverty. And then now we're pushing out towards Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky. And then we're trying to do the same thing,
You're saying let's start close to home and prove that we're capable.
Correct. Right. I mean, we may have a disaster too, and we may need other help from other countries or other states and things like that. Like, we do send out money, but it's like, I have mouths to feed here before I can take the money out of my community and send to over here to feed these mouths. I mean, I'm not saying, I don't think it's a right or a wrong, but at the same time, focus more of your effort in your community and let's get our backyard. So like the Bible may teach that, oh, this person's always talking about this person. I think it may go like, don't cast something to this person in their eye or in their stone or whatever.
Don't cast the pearl before swine.
Correct, or something like that, right.
Stone.
But deal with your backyard, or look at yourself, or look yourself in the eye first. So get yourself together before, how can I talk about you, and how can I talk about you, and I don't even have my house together or my stuff together.
Yeah, because I think it's a really sad situation.
Love that.
A place like Fort Wayne, Indiana, with all this wealth that's going around and all the opportunities that we have, right? I don't think anybody should be sleeping on the street.
No.
I don't think anybody should be going hungry. Right?
How I got started in this, Shirona, was that...
In Sedona, you said?
No.
Oh.
I was saying how I got started in that. And that I was in Walmart. Well, first my daughter was telling me, Dad, we see the homeless on the street or people holding signs, and then it's like, are they trying to do it for money, or are they really homeless, or are they just trying to get their money? And me being around the world, I've been to foreign countries where you walking into this this old cathedral museum with gold everywhere, and there's a guy with a blanket over him, he's holding a sign, and the tour guide is like, don't give him money. And then people are giving him money, $1 is worth a lot in that country, but at the end of the night, they'll take that off, go around the corner, chirp, chirp, and get in this big, elaborate Mercedes-Benz and drive off. Yeah. But he'll sit there all day. That's his job. He just sits there all day and collects. So if he makes $100 a day, and $100 is worth $10 in that country, he's made $1,000 a day just sitting there on that corner right there. And then he may send another family there, and so you have a family of 7, but your job is this is your day and this and that. So when I'm at Walmart and I want to get these backpacks, so my daughter was like, let's do the Ziploc bags, put some essentials on that, but Dad likes to kind of do it bigger. So I was like, let's get backpacks and let's stuff the backpacks. So we got 10 backpacks. We put rolls of toilet paper in there, face cloths, all your toothbrush, deodorant, all those essentials and things like that, and razors. And I'll put some cup soup, some bowls, and flashlights, and wool hats and things like that, all in each backpack. So now they have a kit. So now I'm on Facebook and I'm wanting people to give some money so I can put $5 or $10 in each one. Then that's when the phone rings, or that's when people start reaching out. Richard, have you actually been down and been in the trenches and seen the homeless? And I was like, no, but I would like to, because I'm big. These are all for homeless veterans at the time. She said, come on down. We meet at Fryman Square, 7 a.m. and they pass out clothes. I said, I'll come down. What she was trying to point out to me was that people still have vices that they're dealing with. They may still have drug addiction. They still may have alcohol addiction. They may be on meth. They may be on heroin or whatever it is, their drug of choice. If I put that money in the bag, they're going to take that money to go cop or purchase more stuff. So that made me not even deal with the money side, but give the essentials that you're going to need. And I even do that with my family, or I do that, in the holidays. I don't want to give something that's going to perish. I want to give something that you're going to use and appreciate for years to come, or that it's an essential need that you need for you. And that's the gifts I try to give. And that's what my supporters provide for me, you know. And then I'll get some off the wall type requests, you know, but, you know, where there's some big obese people out there and they need 7-8X clothes, and those are hard to come by. Or there's only like 2% of the population that wears over a size 15. So I got people that need size 15, and it's hard to get those type of shoes, you know. So, but
What would you say to people, to someone who said, I would be more stable financially and have a better life if I had more opportunities?
I'm glad you asked that. I think that would be a myth, you know, because, how should I put it? You say more opportunities. There are endless opportunities out here. Now, by our conditioning of our mind, I may have been tunnel focused or tunnel vision on thinking that this is the amount of opportunities I have. It's either sell drugs, rob somebody, start a business, or cut grass, or do something to generate income instead of doing something negative. But I think that might have been my business owner, might have been and that might have been like a corner store or liquor store I probably couldn't see open up a technology company, because that wasn't the condition of my mindset at that time. But I tell people, I done taught classes in a federal prison environment, business classes, and their GED classes. So I tell them, do not get out and go home and act and become a statistic. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, there's a word called the recidivism rate. If you go back to prison, you've just been added to that. So don't get added into that number or that count. And I'll say, okay. And then I'll have some people say, Mr. Owens, you know, my dad was a pimp or a drug dealer. My mom was a trick or a prostitute. And Mr. Owens, I never had a job in my life. All I knew was selling drugs. That's all I ever done. And I'll say, well, you were a business person. He's like, well, what do you mean, Mr. Owens?
There you go.
And I say, well, do you know your market demographics? What's that? And I said, how many clients did you have a week? Oh, I had about 10. How many were white? 4. How many were black? 3. How many were other nationalities? Okay, you know, and that makes up to 10. I said, well, that's your demographics. You know their ages, right? It's like, right. I said, now the financial side. Who was the biggest spender? Oh, I had this white guy. He worked at a factory. He would bring me $700 his paycheck, and he said, I would cash it for him too. I said, how much product did he buy? He would buy $500 worth of product, and you would give him what? He said, I'd give him $200, but sometimes I might be nice and give him extra $250. You know, I got the whole check, and I was like, okay. And I said, and then you had to set money to the side to re-up for your product for the next week, right? He was like, yes. And I said, but you also wanted to get you a new pair of shoes or some gym shoes or outfit to wear for the club that weekend, right? That's right, Mr. Owens, that's right. Then I said, you have a business. That was a good business. I said, what?
Nice.
I said, but it was illegal, right? He's like, right. I said, well, what would make it legal? He's like, I don't know. I said, change the product. Change it to cars. Change it to selling perfumes or cologne. Change it to whatever, but drugs. You got to keep the same basis. You're going to find same clientele out there that's going to want to buy your product, you know. And I said, but at that time, mail order, you know, before technology became big, mail order was big. So I said, you can start the mail order and you can make just as much money in the dope game as doing the mail order business. And it's going to come and it's going to be legal, you know. And then I tell people, I say, look, when you get out, just say you're starting off at ground zero, you have nothing. If you have a family member that has a pickup truck, or you can save enough money in here, hustling and grinding or whatever, open up your store. I'm not condoning anything legal activities, but selling wine or making your alcohol, whatever. Stack your money that you get. When you get out, you get you a small pickup truck. You put you one little ad in the newspaper and say anybody that has sofas and washers and dryers or anything that they want to clean out their house that still have value that could go to somebody else, and they go back and you collect it all up for free. You keep loading all the stuff in your truck for 2 weeks, maybe get a little storage space to unload it, and every 2 weeks you just set all this stuff out and have a big sale.
Or Craigslist.
Right, and then you put everything out. Now, once you unload all this stuff in this open field for sale, you know you do not want to load this all back up and take it back to the store and unload it. So you're going to sell everything. Excuse me.
It
So
forces you to sell.
Exactly. So, oh, this washer and dryer, you're selling for, $75 each. And they're like, oh man, I don't even know if it works. And that's, come on, just give me I'll get, instead of 75, I'll give you 100 for the pair. You're going to say sold. I'll give you 75 for both. You're going to say sold because you're not trying to load up those washer and dryers. But once you got rid of everything, you might have made $1,500. But you started from nothing. And you just keep repeating that. And then you are, what do you call right now? You're self-employed. But how do I get to the business owner? I met this gentleman over here coming fresh out of college, or he's in high school looking for some extra cash. He has his license and everything. Well, now turn the truck over to him. He's going around picking up everything, and you just make sure you're there when it's sale time, and then you give him his fee and that. Now you're a business owner. But I'm over here working on some of my other business ideas and opportunities while he's over here doing this.
I wanted to just say one thing. The part where you said, if you know how to sell drugs, you know how to be a business owner. To me, what I heard was, that is perspective. That is being able to see the opportunity in what you have already.
Right.
So what if we can switch to saying, what do I have right now that I can work with? And I love how you brought perspective to that.
Yeah, and then to me, this is true hustling.
That's correct.
Right? Most people, you don't have to hustle illegal. You can still hustle legal and then make the money. And if you did not see the whole segment, rewind and watch it again, because this is some really good stuff. You don't learn this stuff in college.
No, you don't.
You don't learn this stuff through, I don't know, other sources. This is coming straight from the street.
That's correct.
Right? And he has been there. He has seen those kids. Right, so he's dropping some bombs.
And you've made your own. You had told me before you made your own sort of mistakes and trial and error regarding finances. You've learned a lot from that, right?
I mean, we all made some bad investments, and I try to do my due diligence. But like I tell people, nothing's guaranteed. Even I may get an investor to give $25,000, and he may want $35,000 in return. But hey, I'll let them know that there's nothing guaranteed, because you can throw at a concert, you could be bringing Madonna here, you it's going to sell out. But it might be a blizzard that comes through on this Friday.
That actually happened to me.
Madonna can't make it into town, and you guys are like, where's Madonna? And you guys are mad at me, and I got to refund all the tickets. But there's no refunding on radio commercials and those flyers and those posters. You may recoup some of your money back, and Madonna's not giving you back her 50%, but so
there's
it's just
risk.
it's risk. I mean, you can check on your market demographics. You can pull comps, which is comparisons of other cities like Fort Wayne, but there's still no guarantee. But you can still do your due diligence and minimize risk.
Yeah, even those jobs that people think that they are so secure with.
Right.
Next day, when you go to work, they might fire you.
Right. And we then seen that happen in Fort Wayne, where they didn't even give a notice. Or they may have said, hey, we're looking at closing next year around February, we don't know. And then they come back the next day at work, and the gates and the doors are locked. They're looking like, what's going on? And the executive staff, they don't left town. And they are out of a job. And nothing. That's happened in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, I saw it so many times. Because even restaurants, I'm like,
Greg, was that?
H.S. Greg. And some restaurants, even I ate at that restaurant, and then I go there.
Bob Evans.
Yeah,
I was there
to see a friend, right?
Exactly.
And the guy who works there, it's even in management. Even management doesn't know.
I was there that day that they closed. We got there for, I would say probably maybe 1 o'clock we got in there, maybe a little later, because they was closing at 3. I didn't know it was closing at 3. So I'm like, man, I see a lot of senior staff, and you can see leadership when they stand out, just the different that they're dressed. I'm like, telling my girls, man, he's a GM, or he's something, he's important. They're like, he's important. I said, man, it's a lot of important. Then you see the employees having a little employee meeting over there. Then you see their tears and people crying or hugging. I'm thinking, maybe she's leaving and moving on to college or something. Why is everybody crying? And they said, it's our last day. We're closing. And I was like, wow, when you guys closing, at the end of the year? He said, no, now. I said, now?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, like this is it. And there's a guy at the door not letting no more people in. And what threw me off was when I said, I want to get grits or this. He said, well, let me see if we still have enough grits. I'm like, what do you mean? It threw me off to even ask me a question. This is a restaurant. I'm about to I want some grits. What do you mean? Let me check and see if there's any more. And he's checking the pie. He's like, hey, we do got enough. I'm like, enough? Why would you? I'm the customer. And I was like, you guys are closing like now. And it was over with.
And I can also give you an example. Like one of my friends, he was working for IBM, I think in North Carolina or South Carolina, one of those places.
IBM.
And he was making 100. I don't know 100 something, but he was making a 6-figure income.
That's correct.
And he was from Fort Wayne, and he was like so stable, right? One day he went to work because they said we are going to have a productivity meeting. So he thought like, whoa, this is great. Maybe we'll get a salary increase. And they said like, well, we are going to eliminate your department. And he said, I make 6-figure income, and I'm the most productive person in the whole tri-state district or something. But they said like, you might be, but you're also a high earner, right?
And we need to save.
And we need to eliminate your whole department, because he said this doesn't even make any sense. What you're saying is like you're firing all the productive people. They said that's not how it is.
Like I say, just a couple words of wisdom. I don't know how it's going to come out, but you don't get comfortable. If you haven't had a storm come to hit, I'm not wishing bad luck or anything. It's coming. It's inevitable. Everyone is going to go through a storm. It may be tomorrow. It may be next week. It might be a few years down the road. It might be 9 years down the road. But you want to be prepared for it, because everybody's going to go through a financial storm. Me, myself, I'm going through my storm now, but I'm going to come out of it, victorious. But don't get comfortable, because things can just be snatched from up under you. Don't get complacent on that job and that job security. Oh, I have everything. And another thing I can try and tell people is live inside your means as you grow. You just landed a new job.
Borrow from the future.
Right, yeah. You're getting $17.50 an hour. You might even be at BF Goodrich making $30 an hour. Whoa, now you were living in an apartment complex, 2-bedroom, maybe only 700 square feet. I don't know. But now you're like, oh, I can afford this house. And you go get a $350,000 home, $1,500 mortgage or something, or $2,000 mortgage. Then you got a car, because yes, you can afford it now. And then all of a sudden, they shut your department down. What are you going to do? You sign contracts. Yeah. It's not like you can, I lose my job, I get out my mortgage. No, you're stuck with a 30-year term. Now you need to sell or liquidate. Don't put yourself in that position. So expand where you can still handle yourself. So another good thing would be, they say put 3 months of living expenses. When I say living expenses, that's not essentials. That's living expenses. So mean, if I love to go out and party and do this and kind of live fabulous or whatever, and it costs me $5,000 to do that a month, well then you need to be putting $5,000 a month. I'm not to the side. So you need to have 15 to 30,000 in a bank. That way, if everything is pulled from up under me, then next month I can still live the same, and nothing is hindering what I'm doing. So those are things that
you
you
should
want.
have 3 months cushion.
Cushion, at least 3 to 6 months cushion. That way, because you're looking for a job and stuff like that. But if you still want to go out and party, like nothing, has happened, you still can support that lifestyle living. But if you got this big house and all of this stuff here and this, you cannot afford that no more. You went back.
But I want to add something
trouble.
more to it too. It's not just that you just lose that money. Your whole mentality changes, because if you have that money to, like, let's say you are looking for a job or you are looking for a business opportunity.
Correct.
But giving that 3-month cushion will let you think peacefully. Otherwise, you get up and think like, crap, my electricity bill will be, my car will be towed.
My
right?
insurance is due.
My insurance
in 3
is
days.
due 3
Or
days.
I'm gonna get 300 or something else.
Yeah, and then but when you are in that abundance mentality, right? What you are thinking is like, yeah, that's gone. Next ship is available, right?
Not only that, but you missed the important part is you compromise.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you take something you really don't want to take.
Exactly.
And then what happens? You sit in that for years. And then
Regret
your
it.
life,
Yeah.
your life becomes something you don't want.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
because of that one period of time.
You know, and like I tell people say, "Oh, I can't find a job." No, you can find a job. You just choose not to take any of the positions of the jobs that are available right now. So it's like I tell people, it's like, man, I can't find a job. No, it's jobs. You can go anywhere. Where can I work at? You know. Well, I'm not saying you don't want to work at McDonald's, but they are hiring and they will hire you. You know,
And
but
then,
you want $10 or $15 an hour, but you may have to go from $15 or $20 an hour down to 10 or 8 or 9. But no, you can find a job, but you just feel that I'm belittling myself. I used to get this, so I'm trying to find something else. Hey, it may not work like that. You may have to go down here and start building.
but you can work yourself up.
That's right.
But you have to plan, right?
Exactly.
Because what most people do is like they have this entitled mentality. Yeah, I used to work at Magnavox.
Right.
Somebody has to give me another Magnavox job. No, create a Magnavox job
Exactly.
and show your value. Like make that company. Like I had this friend of mine, Ron. He was let go from his insurance company, right? He said, "Don't say the name because of the nature of that thing." He was let go of that insurance company. So what he did is like he did private consulting for the customers
Okay.
that he was doing
Correct.
business with before
Correct.
about like liability. So the company looked at him and said like, "Whoa, Ron is taking all the customers." So they cut him a deal
That's right.
and said like, "Now if you come back, we will pay you back." He's like, "No, I'm not coming back," but he raised the value, right? So then Ron was hired by the company and he was making 2-3 times
What he was doing.
what he was making money
before he got
on,
let go.
because he said like, "No, I will be a consultant to you guys."
That's right.
But,
But if you didn't have that cushion,
Mhm.
you don't have time to think clearly, shop around, you know, edify your value, and take your time and find something of comparable quality or what it is you want to do.
Yeah.
But when you don't have that cushion, now it's like, oh, I gotta get it now. I gotta get it now, and then now,
Desperate.
yeah, you're desperate.
So
You
in
know,
his
you'll settle
case-
for anything.
in his case, he had 18 months of his bills saved.
See,
So he was set for 18
Yeah.
months. So
No
his
worries.
mind was very peaceful.
you can take a
He
month
sat down,
vacation.
Right.
He's like, "How do I get back to these clients?" It's the same people that he saw
That's right.
with the big insurance companies,
That's
right? So he's like, "Now I'm going to approach them." And most of the time, what he did was like, he said, "I will give you my time, and if it is valued, pay me. If not, don't pay me." Right? So he structured it, and he said like, "But I'll give you 1 hour. It's a 10 to 12 hour session, but I'll give you 1 hour. If you feel that 1 hour is good, keep paying. Otherwise, just let me go." Right? But those people, when they saw at 1 hour, they said, "Ron, can we buy a 30-hour block?" And the company was seeing the pain. They're like, "Whoa, crap! Why did we even let this guy go?"
That's right.
Because he's taking all that stuff away, because they're calling the company and saying like, "Where's Ron?
Yeah.
Why did you let this guy go?"
And I know you guys are going to have this on social media, and I know there are inmates and people that are incarcerated. You know, maybe they're not supposed to have cell phones, but they do have access. The thing that I want to say to our listeners and viewers that are behind the walls is that you have to come home with a plan. If you don't come home with a plan, you're going to fall back into the same ruts and grooves that you were doing before you went in, or what caused you to get in. But you're going to have to come out with a plan. And while you're behind bars, whatever you want to be in life, there is someone behind the bars that can show you what it is you want to be, because they've already done it, and they've done it on a bigger scale. If you want to be in the stock market and learn how to do that and day trading, the Enron people are in there. You can talk with them. They'll teach you. You have people before the Enron people that was the true Enron people. They're in there, and they can talk to you and teach you. You know, if you want to open up a restaurant, there's someone that had the biggest restaurant in New York. They're in there. If you want to be a trucking company, you have one of the biggest, largest trucking companies here. Their head CEO is in there. So there's people that you can talk to. If you want to be a concert promoter and throw themed events, there's people that put on the big R. Kellys and big giant $2-3 million budget shows in there. You need to get a game plan and come back, but also keep in mind that that doesn't mean you're going to stick step by step to that plan. Times are changing, so when you come out, you're going to have to adapt and revisit your plan and keep tweaking it until you still reach your optimal goal that you want to get at. Now, don't be discouraged.
Those are great words of wisdom to end on. And so I think we'll just leave it there. In conclusion, let's wrap it up for people. Okay, so in conclusion, open your eyes and see the opportunities that are around you.
Right.
What else do we have in conclusion?
Recondition your mindset of thinking on how to create money and wealth. Don't look at it as in a negative way. Look at it as a tool. So you make the money, don't let the money make you, is what they say.
Okay.
It's that perspective.
Yeah, perspective. I like that.
Yeah.
Change the way you're looking at things.
So if you guys haven't learned something today, I don't know when you will learn. This is a lot of good information that we covered.
Yeah, this is great information.
Google some Marcus Garvey quotes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
Marcus Garvey is your friend.
Read The Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It helps you with your mental conditioning of your mindset. You know, they both had money. One was a teacher, a superintendent. The other one was a rich investor, broker guy. And one had money, but he was still poor. He was time broken. He's everywhere, seminars, doing this, but he didn't have time to spend. But the rich dad had all the time because people wait on him because they want him to separate with his money for them. So you need to be in control and let your money be a tool to the things. You know, we take a screwdriver to fix some things. You have that dollar as your tool to fix some things that you may do.
Yeah, I always say, like, don't let the money define you.
There you go.
Define the money.
There you go.